and sit with them, discuss with them, know their constraints, know their difficulties, and also their expectation from the president.
So he's going to meet with them, listen to their concerns. What do they want, and how do they wish to sell their product into the market? So it's very, very important to create an environment where people opinions matter, and they should be part of the process that will lead to meaningful impact. So it's not about government sitting in the central, combo here and directing the agencies and tell them go and do this with the farmers. So it's all very much important. I believe, in my view, that presidents go there himself. And of course, it's like I said, the drafters of the 1997 Constitution envisage such. As such, the president is doing just that, and then he has been doing this every year. But so every minute, every meeting, um, there will be some postmortem analysis as what need to be adjusted, where the lapses are. So that will give the president opportunity to have a first-hand information as how farmers feel about this year, this season, this here farming season, and also what is their expectation from the government, and of course, and from the suppliers and all the operators in the industry.
Okay, I know the president also will be visiting, as you said, the farmers, but also the key project that the government is also implementing. We are hopeful that he's going to visit them. For example, in North Bank region, the Hakalang Road, which is already in the process of construction, as well as other police stations in Esso. We expect him to be visiting this size as well.
Yeah, I mean, President Barrow is a very efficient leader. He, as we know, those of us are in Combo, we knew that he always go out on weekend to inspect projects. So across the KM and West Coast, I want to believe that this is why he's not going all the way to those people, because present movement is very expensive. So it's coming because in those days, I can tell you for free, those of us that used to travel in North Bank, traveling to up countries, you know how it feels, driving through Hakala. So I am not from there, but I do know for sure it wasn't easy. But now you can travel from
Esso.
Farafenye to Soma. So some of those roads construction, especially Hakalan roads, many people doubted the government at the time that they were going to do that, because the challenge was too much, and nobody think that this government will have the will and capacity and ability to deliver. So people thought it was going to be political propaganda. So I mean, here we are, few years down the line. So president is going to inspect, and like minister said a few weeks ago, the project at, I think, 80 or 90% completion. So it's going to be handed over or inaugurated by next year, inshallah. So obviously, presidents love looking after the project himself. So those are the reasons why he's going, and it's very important for him to be at the side and know what is there, of course, and do assessment on his own. Of course, he always make adjustment to the issue that he see, and that's the kind of person he is. He's a pragmatic leader. He doesn't believe in theory, but rather practical. And to make sure that the president desires, president's decisions are followed up to ladder. So that's going to be pretty much his work. That's what the president tell us. And we believe that many people will now, I'm sure we will begin to see changes. For instance, when the chief of staff come into play, we understand, and at some point, the presidency was more regular. As a management student, I do believe that this is very, very important. And the significance of it will override any financial calculation that we might it might occur to us, because at the end of the day, the public service should be the ministers are to serve public and efficiently. So what the president is pushing for is, remember, he bring minister of public service, which now have been able to successfully install the electronic check sign and sign out, and they are working on synchronizing the data where the staff's pay are going to be linked to your attendance. Yeah. So your productivity. Now he's now focused on his as a president, having desires to go, having been given a money to serve this country. So his policies, his ideas on how he wants to see this country goes. Ministers of Presidential Affairs are going to make sure that all the presidential directives, all the presidential communiques are put into practical actions. No more theories. So that's pretty much, and he's also been elevated from just being a chief of staff, who's a staff, cannot decide on what happened and in the cabinet, and then only rely on advising the president also making a chief administrator of State House. I believe that's going to both office of the president and office of the vice president. So it's a good initiative. I mean, to me, as someone who believes pretty much in efficient management of public resources, I do believe it's a good initiative.
Yes, finally, let's talk about this. For almost 5 months now, the Gambia is waiting from the president to appoint a minister of education. It has been not happening. What do you think make this delayance?
You see, the end justify the mean, not to prolong the conversation. I do not know why the delayance, but I do know for sure it's in public knowledge that the former minister that resigned have some challenges of documentation. Of course, people would say that how can you appoint someone that have this? So although I want to believe, so but you have to take your time. We do not have
administrators. A portfolio like Minister of Education is not been appointed.
No, but ministries was properly managed. It was run by a professor.
But it needs
Professor Pierre Gomez was immediately. President Moro does not. One thing I like about the president is the moment a person is vacant, he automatically hand it over to someone. He doesn't allow a person to go for a second. That's one thing I like about him. Yes, but there was a minister. Are you talking about substances minister? Yes. There was not.
No,
but there was a minister.
We need a minister of education.
Yes, but we have a minister.
Talking about administering here. What we are talking is the minister of education should be appointed by now.
This is how government works. This is how government works. Ministers, they are pretty much a political appointee, and they oversee, like I said, just like the president affairs ministers, they oversee president philosophy and ideas on how he wants to see education sector, for instance. So he has a minister who, in his own, already serving as a minister of higher education, science and technology. He immediately handed over this ministry to oversee. And guess what?
No, it's different.
Now look at this. Look at this way. I will go by this and justify the mean. Look at the person. Look at the person that he has brought in. Look at the credentials of that person. He says he's someone who is a very, very meticulous.
You want to tell me that the president didn't have any person who can...
No, that's not what I'm saying. I do not know why the president does not appoint...
Are you disappointed?
I am not disappointed, but because as far as I'm concerned, there was no setback. The results were out. They say that, okay, we need a minister, we should have a minister. We agree. I mean, we all agree we should have a minister. And should it come earlier than this? I believe yes, but never too late as well. At least, for the fact that he was able to appoint someone who, in my view, is best fit for the positions. Dr. Habib Drame. She is currently serving, or before today, has been serving as Director of Student Affairs at the University of the Gambia. And I personally have the privilege to work with her very closely and directly. So I can tell you for free. And the president would have not made a mistake in having such time. And another thing is, this is what this country is all about, and this is how President Barrow sees this country. You don't have to know President Barrow personally to get a job, and that's how society should be. Do you understand? So, why must you appoint a chief of staff and president affairs minister, for example? It's the same thing. We are bringing the same argument here.
No, it's not the same thing.
If the president can appoint chief of staff and have a minister to oversee that ministry, that is president prerogative. But what I'm telling you is, had the president did not, since the resignation of the former minister, have not handed over this ministry to a permanent secretary, for example, we will have a cause to blame him. But he did not do that. He has handed over the position to a portfolio holder and said, please take care of this ministry. And everybody knew that Professor Gomez was overseeing this ministry, just like the way digital economy was overseen. Education sector is as important as our digital economy. Let me tell you why digital economy is very important. Our digital economy, and many people, when you talk about digital economy, we think it's all about internet. It's not about internet. There are so many things that the world is going through technology. So the government, in order for us to have a proper e-government system, for example, and be able, let me a few things that we can take from this. GRA was able to bring the stamping for I don't know, water and so many other things. All these things are part of the digital economics reform processes. So there are so many things, there are so many untapped economic activity that is out there for this country that we are here to tap. So that is why this economy, these ministers are very, very important.
Mr. Tunkara is running away from my question.
I am not running away from
you. You are running away from my question. The simple question is, the Minister of Education is key when you come to government.
Okay, fine. Let's assume it without conceding. That's the case. that still doesn't change the fact that that person is going to serve as a minister. And we don't just want to have someone who will just come and fit a positions. I believe strongly, because I do know Professor Gomez, while he served as a acting vice chancellor, and I was only on my second year then at the university, and I had opportunity. I was serving as executive council member. I had opportunity to work closely with him. So that's why when he was appointed, I have no doubt. I have no reason to doubt his capacity and capability. Until today, he has been significant reforms, and since he took over since President handed over the basic and secondary education minister to him, what stops him? And what are the major crises that come from that ministry? For example, the result that comes out, does it correlate with your argument? These are the things that we should run away from sentiment.
No,
The sentiment of, okay, many people want to believe that, okay, when the minister is gone, I agree with that part. They have right to that argument. But in my view, me, I would have issue if the ministry was handed over to a permanent secretary.